$44,500,000 every single year ad creative strategy. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the specific ad creatives that this brand is using to acquire cold traffic from meta ads. And not only just going to be showing you the ad creatives, I've actually broken out these ad creatives into specific frame by frame, element by element, so that you can see the specific frameworks this brand is using. And I've actually even included some suggestions as to how this brand could even improve the ad creatives further, so you can apply the same thing to your own brand. Now, one of the biggest bottlenecks I see e-commerce brands face when they're trying to scale their e-commerce brand is the ability to produce winning ad creatives for meta ads. If you're watching this video and running an e-commerce brand, there's a high likelihood that you're running meta ads to acquire new customers. And if you're spending a decent amount on meta ads, you know that creative is king, and the ability to find winning ads consistently is what's going to allow you to scale your ad spend. Of course, there are other things that go into scaling, such as your offer, your conversion rate, your average order value, other sources of customer acquisition, such as Google Ads, influencer marketing, and other platforms. But in this video specifically, we're going to be covering the ad creative strategy that you can apply to your meta ads. So with that said, let's get right into it. Just a quick refresh on the dashboard here to show you that I'm qualified to speak on the topic of growing e-commerce brands. We help e-commerce brands scale from 7 figures to 8 figures in revenue. See here, last month, one of our clients, 156K in revenue, on track to scale to 8-figure range. This brand, Jaxxon, as you can see here, e-commerce net sales in $1 million, 44.5 million. That is in 2024 last year. And this brand, what they do is they sell men's jewelry. Okay, they sell chains, they sell watches, etc., right? They have a pretty large following on social media. The founders are this is a very founder-led brand. I'm actually going to show you, some additional bonus tips here as well in this video. But let's start with the ad creative, what you guys came here for. So they're running, different types of ads. Obviously they're running sale ads, they're running static ads, they have these kind of interactive ads. I want to focus on the video ads for this video specifically. So what I've done here is I have broken out two of the video ads into frame by frame, right? And I've broken it down by frameworks, because if you've seen my videos before, you know that we like to have a scientific process that we use for ad creative, right? We have this flywheel where basically every time we go through one of these cycles, we get better at finding winning ad creatives because we're optimizing specific parts, all right? So I'm actually going to show you how to actually apply the frameworks to an ad creative, but then also how do you actually analyze this to improve it in the future, all right? So first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to watch this ad creative, and then I'm going to break it down step by step.
And guys who wear Jaxxon are always looking so confident.
Right now, I'm going to show you the secret to looking good. It's a Jaxxon chain.
There's a reason celebrities and athletes trust Jaxxon's. It's water and sweat proof. So if you're at the gym or the pool, no need to take it all. Great weight to it. The prices are amazing.
And there's a reason why over 1 million customers choose Jaxxon.
Step out, feel good, look good. Shop now at Jaxxon.com.
Okay, so that's the ad. 22 seconds, very short ad, but let's break it down specifically on a frame by frame basis, but also looking at the elements and of course the direct response principles as well. So the hook, let's start with the hook. The hook here is a strong hook. It stops the scroll. Of course, if you're a guy, you're going to stop the scroll here, right? It's a classic way to stop the scroll if you're selling to men. Of course, you have sexual companionship here. This is one of the life force 8 core desires. As humans, we have 8 core desires, right? So these are the core desires that are hardwired into us as humans. Every single human being has these desires, right? And you can see that there's 8 here. The more you can use in your marketing, the better. But sexual companionship is one of these, and it is one of the most strongest ones of these 8 core desires. So if you can weave that in any way, definitely do so. We're also talking to status here, right? There's a reason why, we're also talking to status here. If you just rewatch this start video. By the way, if you're a new viewer here, my name is Jordan Hayes. I actually run a marketing agency where we help e-commerce brands scale their revenue profitably. Now, if you're running an e-commerce brand, you're doing over 100K per month in revenue, and you're facing challenges with scale, maybe your ads or your funnel is not working as well as it used to or should be, or even if it's just a lack of time and resource to put into scaling this part of the business, then that's exactly what we help with. So down below this video, there'll be a link to book a call with me. We'll have a conversation about your business, learn more about the challenges, your objectives, and see if there's a fit for us to work together. Worst case scenario, I can provide some insights as we're seeing with our other clients to help you at your current stage of your business. And as I mentioned, this is for brands who are doing at least 100K per month in revenue, and they need help with scaling and obviously want to scale profitably. And in the way in which we help brands scale is we provide services across both customer acquisition and customer retention, done for you services which are completely hands off. We take care of everything for you. And that includes media buying, CRO, landing pages, ad creative, email marketing, SMS marketing, overall growth strategy, lifetime value optimization, all that stuff, okay? So with that said, let's get back to the video.
Who wear Jaxxon are always looking so
confident, right? So the status, of course, the core desire to look confident, to feel superior, right? Those are just other desires that are coming through just in the first 2 seconds, okay? Now let's go to the next part.
confident.
Right now, I'm going to show you the secret to looking good.
All right, so right now I'm going to show you the secret to looking good, desired outcome, right? The secret to looking good. And this is the curiosity, right? The secret. And we're future pacing by looking good, okay? Very, very simple, but there's subtle cues here that are happening that I want you to pay attention to, all right? Now let's go to the next frame.
The Jaxxon chain.
is a Jaxxon chain, right? That is the product introduction. All right, so solution looking at this product introduction, and there's some authority via the podcast here. If we just go back here,
Being so confident.
Right now, I'm going to show you the secret to looking good. It's a Jaxxon.
right? There's authority here because this guy looks like he's on a podcast. It's high production, and it's not just someone saying like, oh, here's chain, right? It looks, it fits into the video, fits into the brand, and it looks high value. Now let's look at the next scene.
Jaxxon chain.
There's reasons celebrities and athletes trust Jaxxon.
There's a reason celebrities and athletes trust Jaxxon, right? Authority, okay? Authority adds social proof and trust. The use of celebrities is a great way to do that, okay? So, if you don't have celebrities, think about how you can use doctors, nutritionists, psychologists, anyone who's in like a authority position related to your brand, right? If you're selling skincare, obviously dermatologists. If you're selling a mindfulness app, then a psychologist or a psychotherapist, wherever it is, right? You can get creative with this. You can even go so far as if you're selling a product to moms and the parenting niche, use other moms, right? Or use a nurse or do that. If you're selling food, use a chef, right? Just think of like who is the authority figure in that space and, go to that, okay? Now let's watch the next scene.
It's water and sweat proof.
It's water and sweat proof, right? We're getting into the features. Feature 1, water and sweat proof.
So if you're at the gym or the pool, you don't need to take it off.
For the gym or the pool, no need to take it off. So what is the benefit of that feature? It's, you don't need to take it off, right? It's water and sweat proof. That's just one benefit. Another benefit could be that it doesn't turn your neck green, right? That's another big thing about jewelry, but they've gone with one benefit here. Now they go into more features. So let's look at these.
And guys who wear Jaxxon are always
Celebrities and athletes trust Jaxxon. It's water and sweat proof. So if you're at the gym or the pool, you don't need to take it off. Great weight to it.
Great weight to it. Another feature.
The prices are amazing.
Prices are amazing. Another feature.
There's a reason why
Okay. And then we're getting into the next one here. So just very quick there, we had 2 features, right? Feature 2, feature 3, which was went through. And then they're hitting us some more social proof.
over 1 million customers choose Jaxxon.
There's a reason why over 1 million customers choose Jaxxon, right? So great social proof there, adding trust. Other people are buying this. You're not going to be the first one. You're not going to be stupid if you buy this, basically.
Step out, feel good, look good. Shop
All right, that is the CTA.
now at Jaxxon.com.
And it's a cool, like, it's a, rule of 3. Step out, feel good, look good. It's repetition, right? Because it's like the same, like humans like to think in 3s, right? But it's also what's happening there is it's 2 words, 2 words, 2 words, right? Step out, look good, feel good. It works, right? The use of the words works very well. So that's very subtle. You don't always need to do that, but it's a great use of language. So this is a great ad. And what you can do here, right here, is you can look at this and you can actually just take this framework and apply it, right? What we like to do is we like to look at these as frameworks. If you just create a random ad and you mash stuff together, then it's going to be very, very hard to analyze that ad and improve it, which I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. So this ad right here is a perfect example of how we can break out each of these frames, each of these scenes into different elements, right? Each of these desired outcome, solution, product intro is an element. All these elements together combined make up a framework. Now, we have, proven frameworks that we have right here. And if I just scroll over here and find these, I'll actually, if you want the frameworks, you can just comment down below and I'll send them over to you. But, we have these frameworks here, like project management solutions, 3 ways X, help me, 3 reasons why, how I went from this to this, etc., etc. And, those are proven frameworks, but they're not the be-all, end-all of frameworks, right? You can play around with your own frameworks. And basically, once you have all the elements, once you have all the building blocks, it's almost like a recipe, right? It's almost like baking a cake. There's no one way to bake a cake. Of course, you have the same ingredients in most cases, but you can, throw those ingredients together in a different way, right? That's really what we're doing here. So you can test those, and of course, the data is going to tell you what works or not. And just getting into that and getting into the data analysis, we like to look at, of course, your ROAS and CPA, your North Star metric, but then going deeper into the videos themselves and how to actually iterate on these. Because the key here is that when you analyze creators that you've tested, how do you actually find more winners? Let's just say right now you have to launch 20 ad creators to find one winner, right? That means you have a 5% win rate. Now, what if you could get that win rate to, let's just say even 10%, right? 1 in 10, or even like 1 in 15, if you can get it there. Because if you can do that, it means that you're going to be more efficient at producing ads, meaning you're saving money, you're saving time. But you're also going to be able to more predictably scale your ad spend, right? You're not going to be able to, you're not going to be in a situation where you're scaling your ad spend up and having to scale it back down because you're not being able to find winners month over month, okay? It's the whole process. So if we look at this process real quick right here, we come up with the research, we get the angles, we get the creatives, we actually produce the creatives, we test them, we look at the data, and then we iterate, right? The iterations is the secret sauce. That is where the increasing of the win ratio of ads that you're producing comes in. Because what we do, we have some benchmarks right here, like a great hook rate is 40% plus. And by the way, these are custom metrics that you build in your ads manager. You're going to search online how to, add the hook rate and add the different hold rates to your meta ads manager. And you'll be able to see these metrics, right? We also have different benchmarks here. And we look at hold rate at different rates, right? 25%, 50%, 75%, 95%. And we also look at the engagement drop-off chart. You can see this in the, if you just go to the view charts area of the specific ad, and then you look at the engagement graph, then you'll see the specific drop-offs, right? Now, of course, there's going to be a natural decline as the video goes on, but you're looking for steep drop-offs, right? At 1 second here, we get a pretty steep decline, right? This decline is not as steep, but we also might want to look here and see what's happening, okay? And basically what we do is we look here and we say, okay, was a steep decline at 2 seconds to 3 seconds. What are we doing here, right? Which element are we showing, right? Is it, you know, in this ad that we just saw, they're still in the hook, but let's just say hypothetically, it's, you know, the desired outcome. Maybe we're losing a lot of people here. Maybe it's because we're introducing the product too soon, right? Maybe customers don't want to see the product yet. They don't want to feel like they're being sold to. So what can we do as a set? Like, how can we replace that? And what can we change specifically in that part? That is iteration, right? We make that change, we test it again, okay? Because if everything else is good and we just change that part, then of course, you know, the hypothesis is that the ad overall, the performance is going to improve because the hold rate is going to be better. More people are going to watch more of the ad, more people are going to click through, etc., okay? So this is really the game here, right? And as you can see with this brand, they've tested a V2 hook, right? It's basically a different woman saying the same thing, right? Saying the exact same thing, holding the same thing, like it's the exact same visual, but just a different girl, right? Now, they might find that one of the girls performs better than others, but you can see here that they're testing the hook. Maybe they found that the hook rate wasn't so good, right? And they're testing more. Or that's just, you know, that starting point where they're testing 2, 3, 4 different hooks to begin with, and they're actually going to review the data and see which one won out, okay? So that's just one of the ads. I'm going to show you a different ad, and this one a little bit different because I'm actually, you know, I think there's a lot of ways that this brand could improve this ad, and I'm going to show you that specifically right now, okay? So if we just jump back to Foreplay, this tool that we use to spy, this tool that we use to discover other brands is just, you know, a form of research. I'm just going to find that ad right now.
Stop buying cheap chains. Upgrade to Jaxxon, the chain that's built to last. Heat-proof, sweat-proof, and tarnish-free, Jaxxon delivers serious durability and style. Don't settle. Level up your look today at Jaxxon.com.
Okay, so very short, simple ad. And we're going to go through this again. I'm going to show you the different areas. So of course, they start with a hook, right? And this is a great hook, and it's a great way to introduce a formula where it's a great way to introduce a framework, which is like stop your current situation, right? Like, so in terms of like calling out the current situation, it could be what the customer is currently doing to try and solve their problem, or it could also be another failed solution, right? So in this case, they're calling out cheap change.
Buying cheap chains.
So that is the current situation, or the, I guess you can call it the failed solution that the customers are currently going through. And it's a scroll stopping visual as well, because, you know, they're taking chains out what looks like a trash.
Jaxxon. Stop buying cheap chains.
Aside from that, it's a scroll stopping visual, right? By taking the chains out of some sort of cabinet. You see here.
Stop buying cheap chains.
Okay, so like very quick visual. Scroll stops, grabs attention, and the comment added here is you should follow this, like start with the hook, but then don't introduce the product too soon because they do that next. And what we should do is we should follow this with core human desire by someone saying, I used to wear cheap chains thinking no one would notice, but a girl called me out once and I never looked back. Okay, so it's like personal story. And we're not saying like, you know, sometimes if you just say, do this, do this, do this, we're preaching. And that's not always the best way to sell. Instead, it's personal story. That is a great way to sell, like, hey, I used to do this. And what customers are going to do is if they empathize and they feel that situation, they've been to that themselves, they're going to be drawn to that, okay? And it's not like we're saying, hey, you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong. It's more like, I suffered from this. Don't like learn from my mistake, right? So in this case, I introduce that. And then I also say, but a girl called me out once and I never looked back. So we're going back to those core human desires of sexual companionship, of, you know, wanting to be superior, and of course social approval as well. So we're hitting on a lot of those with just one sentence, right? But a girl called me out once and I never looked back. So it's like maybe the person who's watching this has already had the same thing happen to them, or they don't want that to happen to them in the future. So this is like more of a preventative thing, okay? Then we have the product intro where we say switch to Jaxxon.
8. Upgrade to Jaxxon, the chain that's built to last.
The chain that's built to last is the next scene. And what I've added here to this one is change the visual, right? They're just showing someone wearing the chain, but I think you could make this a lot more vivid by saying, like, by rolling over the chain with a truck and show that it's completely undamaged, right? That is a way to show, not tell, and it's a great way to approach advertising. Now we go into some more features.
Heat-proof, sweat-proof, and tarnish-free.
All right, so 3 more features there. So we went through built to last, heat-proof, sweat-proof, tarnish-free, right? So 4 features in a row now. And what I would do here for heat-proof is I'll show the chain on fire, or like get like some clips and like put like kind of dangle the chain in a roaring fireplace, right? Again, show, don't tell. And again, that's a much more interesting visual than just this one right here, which is showing water, which doesn't really go with the visual. This one does, right? Sweatproof and showing the water definitely goes with the visual. That's perfect. Tarnish free. This one right here, like we're just showing the chain, but what I would do here is I'd show like a side-by-side screen. I would compare the Jaxxon chain undamaged to a rusty cheap chain that's, green and et cetera, right? Again, showing the visual, and this is a more like a before and after, and empathizing with what the customer might already be experiencing if we're going after, and then resonating with this video of cheap chains, okay? So then we go into another feature.
Jaxxon delivers serious durability
And style, right? And they're showing durability in some sort of way in the visual by like pulling on the chain, which I think is fine. But what I would do here is after all these features and no benefits, I would add benefits, okay? So this one is add benefits after features. No more worrying about awkward green neck on dates. Increase your confidence, which has proven to be more attractive to women. And don't risk having someone call you out wearing cheap chains. Those are 3 benefits right there that really are desire-led, right? The core desire-led. Why do people want a chain that is tarnish free? Why do people want a durable chain? Okay, another one you can add here is you save money over the long run, right? That's just another benefit. But those are examples of how you can expand on this and create a much stronger ad script. This one right here is I'd follow the benefits with a unique mechanism. So what material is it made of? Why is this so good, right? Why, okay, it has all these features and it has a benefit, but tell me more about like what is it actually made of, right? What, like you're saying don't buy cheap chains. Why is this one not a cheap chain? What is it made of specifically, okay? So we're getting deeper into that. And then I would follow it up with adding social proof and authority. So using the celebrities, using their 1 million customers, using that social proof to build more trust before we ask them to go and purchase, okay? So notice how we're building up, and then we can say the CTA, don't set or level up your look today, right? So that is a way that I would actually take this and improve it, right? I would actually make this better. And you can see just, how I like to think about, again, it's like baking a cake, right? Basically with these ones, I'm like, okay, maybe we need a little more chocolate, we need a little bit more frosting, maybe we need some more eggs, right? Like that, just to give you guys an analogy, that's really the way I look at it. And, I think it's a very helpful analogy to be able to build and expand on these blocks. Maybe, what you can do is you can go to your own ad creatives, visualize it like this, because I think this visual really helps you break it down on a frame by frame, scene by scene basis. And, actually say, okay, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Look at the engagement graphs. Look at what I showed you here, right? These are available to you in Meta. Use them, right? Look at the hold rates, look at the hook rates, and then identify where the dropouts are occurring in your video. Where's the weak point? Where's the weak link in your video that you need to improve right now? And then go and create an iteration on that video, right? That should be the action step from this video right here. If you were to take anything from that, is to use this data, use what I've shown you right here, visualize it, and go ahead and create an iteration and do one of those cycles that I showed you earlier, right here, where you're going back to the iterations and you're producing that next creative, you're testing, all right, and just go through that again and again and again. And then over time, you do that more times, you get better, you understand what angles are winning, you double down on those angles, and that's going to allow you to create more ads more predictably, okay? So this is really the approach here, guys. And, not to spend too much time on it, but I did want to show you guys the CRO. This brand is doing a very good job at the CRO, the conversion optimization on their website, and the product pages, super clean, super fresh. You can see how they like kind of integrated the logo into the first product image, right? There's usually brands will have like a bar that has, the logo, and then like it's separated and et cetera, et cetera. They're just optimizing space here and it just looks super clean, okay? So, small thing, just more like a design thing, but again, it moves stuff up the fold just a little bit, which is important, okay? Selling fast, just like a little urgency play here. And then, I think this information, because all brands, if you're watching this, you have to have your reviews, your product headline, you have to have the pricing, you have to have strike-through pricing, maybe some savings, and they managed to fit all of this on mobile in 2 lines by putting them side by side. And I think it looks very, very clean. This read 5,450 views, it scrolls to the review section. You should always have that scroll, because customers are they're gonna look at the above the fold section. They might look a little bit, just below the fold. Then they're gonna go to your reviews and read those. Okay, so that's what I'll do, is see how you can really organize that information in a way that's super, super easy to consume. Now, when it comes to apparel, accessories, furniture, anything that has sizing really, or anything that has multiple variants, right, be it consumables, whatever it is, there's also a challenge with the layout to make it sure you're not taking up so much vertical space on mobile. And this brand does a very, very good job of that. They show the finish, right, like this could be the color variant, the length, and then just like a very easy selection here. Find my size directly under this, right, because customers are going to be looking at the size and they're going to be saying, what size am I? You want to make that find my size chart easy, and you want to keep them on the same page. Notice how this comes out very seamlessly from the bottom. You want to have something like this, a pop-up. You don't want to save them to another page, because then they get lost and they can't come back, right? Keep them on the same page. They have this little upsell here where you can add a custom box clasp, which increases average order value. Add the cart button green. It is a different color to everything else on the page. It stands out. Some promises under here: ships free tomorrow, 30-day returns. You always want to have those underneath the add to cart button, because that's going to help push people over the edge. And click the add to cart button, and then they have accordions here, more details that if customers want to read them, they can expand them, more details on the shipping, the risk-free trial, etc., etc. Okay. Now, they have a lot of social proof. As you scroll down, number one, men's chain, there's some videos of people wearing it, styling it, etc., etc. And then, of course, going into the materials, if you have products that you focus on the materials and the build quality, definitely include those. Okay, and then we see that with the reviews. Notice here, add to cart button is sticky at the bottom, but then also this navigation, which is really cool, that I want to show you. If you look at your heat maps, I guarantee that a ton of customers are interacting with your navigation. You're going to see that heat map lit up on the navigation, on the hamburger menu on mobile. So this is a great way to show visuals, because it's a very easy to shop by visuals. And you can also shop by category and collection by flipping over here. Okay, so very, very clean, seamless. I'd recommend coming to Jaxxon, going through this experience yourself, and just seeing what you can apply to your own brand. And remember, A/B test, right? All this stuff should be A/B tested. You should never think or assume that rolling out something is going to increase conversion rate. Always A/B test. Okay, so that is it for this video. Hopefully this was helpful in terms of breaking out. Let me know if it was helpful in the comments, because I'll do more videos like this where I break down these ads on a specific frame by frame or scene by scene basis and show you guys how they're structured. All right, that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next video.